Bonjour et ça va? This is Zach Weiss, host of Across the Cavs. Thursday, an exciting episode coming up with Cavs Nation France, getting a little international Cavalier collaboration. Got some other exciting individuals on the horizon, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But we're here. We're going to talk some Cleveland Cavs because you know what? It's Tuesday night. There's no Cavs game. What are we doing? We're setting the stage on Network 216. Let's get it. Last night was a fantastic win for the squad as they notched their fifth in a row as they knocked off the Chicago Bulls, continuing to show that without Evan Mobley and Darius Garland and Ty Jerome, of course, because it's Ty Jerome, that they can win basketball games. They have the longest active streak in the East, the second longest active in the NBA, tied with who else but the Utah Jazz. Jordan Clarkson, Ochai Agbaji, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, all acquired via trade from Cleveland over the last 4 seasons, playing a massive part in the success that team has had. Sure, it's not the same roster it was a few years ago, but 6 in a row for them. They are looking real good. And Colin Sexton dropping 30 points in 24 minutes last night. It was his 4th straight game, scoring 20, his 7th time in his last 10. Shooting 49% for the season, after shooting 51% his first year in Utah. One of the most accurate scorers, jump shooters in the league. He's doing this effectively, efficiently, while not actually playing all that many minutes. Just to finish up on Colin Sexton. Sexton has logged 30 minutes or more just once in these 10 games in which he scored 20 plus 7 times. He's just at the top of his game at the moment. And it's great to see. 27 on the Lakers. He had the 30-burger on Indy. 22 on the Sixers to go along with 10 assists. 22 points in 21 minutes against Denver. 19 points in 18 minutes against Milwaukee. It is the Colin Sexton renaissance. He's still but 25 years old, celebrating a birthday recently, and he's still just getting started. It's his 6th year in the league. Sure, he's not averaging 24 like he did in Cleveland, but his numbers are up. He's dishing it nicely, and he's playing good basketball next to Chris Dunn. All right, back to Cleveland. A couple things I wanted to talk about today. I have not had an official pod since the Mark Price convo last Monday. I hope you all enjoyed that. Fantastic to speak with the great Mark Price once again. I had planned on doing a post-game Paris podcast over with the only Nets fan you know and Fireside Nets hosts. Good friend Peter. He could not squeeze that one in. But nonetheless, you will be definitely hearing from him soon, as the Cavs will play the Nets again on February the 8th. And then again on March the 10th. In Paris, the Cavs did, in fact, get a win, 111-102. The game started off extremely low scoring. It was 54-34 at the half. Brooklyn went on a furious run. Cam Thomas and Mikal Bridges finishing with identical lines of 26 points and 6 rebounds. Max Strus limited to just 7 minutes. Karis LeVert stepped up with 21. Jared Allen had a double-double but didn't get as many offensive touches. It was Donovan Mitchell with 45 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. Something only a handful of players have ever done in an NBA game, or to put up those 3 sets of numbers. You got to look amongst the greats. And the main takeaways from Paris are that team chemistry is high. The aura is exceptional for this team. And that all the noise that's been peeping in from the outside and everything that's taken place, the JB rumors, the early season struggles, still a squad. They care about one another's success. And though he had a quiet game, Sam Merrill only, 2 for 12 in Paris. Did grab 9 rebounds, and he handled 32 minutes of action as the team fought to hold Brooklyn's furious comeback off. But that's really all from Paris. Don is exceptional, which we already knew. And the team is looking pretty good. Shout out LD, any Curb Your Enthusiasm fans. Returning to the States, the end of the week. After playing just one game in 7 days, the Cavs took on the Bulls last night in a game that was very ugly at times. And it did result, though, in the 6th consecutive Cavs win over the Bulls, 109-91. They were up 19 after the first. They ended up falling behind in the early part of the fourth, but outscored the Bulls 29-14 in that final frame. Forced some turnover after turnover after turnover. Had no Chicago Bulls with at least 20 points. Held Levine to 17. DeMar DeRozan had 6 points. Was nowhere to be seen. Donovan scored 34. LeVert 16, 7, and 7. Merrill added 15 in just 20 minutes. Another Allen double-double. Dean Wade clutch threes. Man, you love to see it. The ball was moving and getting assists as needed. They had 28 of them in a game which they only scored 108 points total. 28 assists on 39 made field goals. They took a franchise record 57 threes, making 20 of them. They were +7 on the offensive glass against a team with Vucevic and Drummond. +7 in assists. They won in steals. They were -7 in turnovers. Even in points in the paint, they limited their fouls. Chicago shooting 75% at the line certainly didn't help their cause. But it's a win, man. It was ugly at times, but a golden run to close it. Everything was falling. You had the bang, bang, Niang train going hard in the beginning with his first 3 threes. Karis LeVert hitting timely shots. But something now to move on to our third topic, Max Strus. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 points. So he's been up and he's been down. So Max Strus, last 10 games. Against the Pelicans, he shot 4 of 16, 13, 3, and 5. Against the Bulls, 9 for 22, but had 26 points. Took 17 threes against Dallas, but 8, 5, and 6. Against the Bucks, 5 of 18. Against the Raptors, 2 of 7. But then he burst out again like he did against Chicago the first time against the Wizards with 24, 4, and 3, 6 of 8 from deep. Since the Wizards game, 4 of 6, 9, 5, and 3. Did not shoot much against the Spurs. 3 of 11 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3. Against the Bulls last night, 1 of 8, as mentioned, no triples. Look, he's averaging 13, 5, and 4. There have been nights where Max Strus has been a very, very, very good player. And there have been other nights now, more of late, where he's kind of just disappeared. Strus has gone for 20 points on 7 occasions. He's been in double figures in 25 of 38 games. He's got 12 games of at least 5 assists. He's got 20 games of at least 5 rebounds. He's got 23 games with a steal, 18 games with a block. He avoids foul trouble. And obviously, maybe the injury against Brooklyn got in the way. But the fact is, as mentioned, the 7 games of 20 points in which the team is 6-1 in that stretch. If you look at these recent contests, his 3-point numbers have been pretty bad. He's 0 for 8 over the last 2. Of course, got hurt against Brooklyn. Didn't seem to have his legs under him last night. And there's some days where he's incredible. And then maybe an underlying issue. And it feels like maybe there's more than they are. He had multiple turnovers for the 3rd straight game that he finished. He does play well as far as net rating goes. Max Strus with a positive or neutral in 25 games, negative rating in but 13. And double-digit net rating in the negatives. Double-digit negative 5 times. He's not usually benched. His minutes seem to happen. But the question I want to ask is, Max Strus, where art thou? Because some days he's hitting the shot, some days he's not. Now, the life of a shooter in the NBA means, yeah, he's going to be streaky. He's not going to be great all the time. But they might have some questions to answer because with Garland and Mobley come back, Darius Garland's return seems imminent. Who moves to the bench? Does it Okoro, who's been playing such great defense? Is it Dean Wade? Probably not until Mobley's back. Who's 6'8", 6'9", is rated very high defensively. Still firing up his threes when they need him to. Well, at least some days he is. So do you actually move Strus to the bench? Because when you get Garland and Mobley, maybe you just want the defense of Okoro. Although if you do that, you're limiting your shooting once again, which was the problem to begin with when the team started a little slower this season, taking 3-4 weeks for their first multi-game winning streak. But nonetheless, you definitely have to answer the Strus question. And a conversation I don't really want to have because I'm not really a fan of this subject matter, but it's trading Max Strus. Will become trade, should now, I believe, be trade eligible. I have my jersey of his already. Would hate to see him gone already. I had a Twitter poll going up from the NBA Central that the Cavs are linked to both Royce O'Neal and DeAndre Hunter. So I put up a poll about an hour ago. Who's your preference? DeAndre Hunter, Royce O'Neal, who was Donovan Mitchell's teammate in Utah, or neither? And of the 259 votes, 53% for Hunter, 34% for Royce, 13% say neither. If you're not familiar with Royce O'Neal's game, if you were not a Utah Jazz watcher before the Donovan trade happened, he was playing with Royce O'Neal. He's a guy that can certainly fill it up from three. He had 5 just last night against Miami. Now, his numbers right now are overall down. If you look at his statistics, he's only averaging 7, 5, and 4. So after averaging 9, 5, it's 8, 5, and 3. I was after averaging 9, 5, and 4. He was a 40+% field goal shooter every year in Utah. Those numbers have dropped in Brooklyn. They traded a first-round pick to get him, so they're certainly going to want one in return. Royce is now 30, but he shoots 37% from deep. He facilitates. He defends at a high level. And he's got one of the best pump fakes in the NBA, actually. The reason his play has struggled of late, though, is because the Nets are 3-14 in their last 17. And a lot of players, unfortunately, have been playing a lot less. And they've been switching things and trying to figure it out. They're also kind of banged up, but 3-14 in their last 17 games is a yikes. Especially considering that you look before that stretch, they were 13-8, 13-9, a solid bunch. The Cavs faced them on opening night and had a real battle. But they got 2 more meetings against one another. My personal thoughts would be if you can get Royce O'Neal, that's wonderful. I don't know that I'm ready to part with Max Strus, who I still think in transition finds the open man well. He moves the ball. He's a fantastic screen setter. Now, I know a lot of players are, but he's very active within the offense, whether he's getting his touches or not. So I find it hard to part with him during this first year. If you look at DeAndre Hunter, you pull up some of DeAndre Hunter's numbers from his time here with the Hawks. He's been out a while. He's only played 24 games this year. He's averaging 15, 4, and 1 assist. He was shooting 40% from deep for the first time in his career. He's averaged about the same every season. DeAndre spent a lot of time in college, so he's already 26. We mentioned Royce is 30. If you need to know about Max Strus, how old is he? Strus is 27. This is his 5th NBA season, and it's the 5th year in a row he's increased his scoring average, his rebounding average, his assist average, and his steal average. He's playing the most minutes of his career. You do want to see him make more shots. That same is true for George Bang Bang Minivan G-Wagon Niang, who is pretty up and down as well. Niang on the year is shooting 35% from 3, but has hit multiple in 5 consecutive contests. His points are up from last year's, averaging career high in rebounds and in assists. His 22 minutes a game are the second highest of his career. The one thing about him, 1920, he didn't miss many games. 2021, he didn't miss a single game, and he missed 6 and 4 the previous 2 years. He hasn't missed one yet this year. The Cavs are sitting at 23-15 amidst their recent winning streak. So he's around. He's available. Cavs, of course, 7-3 in their last 10 with Niang playing a big part. My answer would be between O'Neal, Hunter, neither. I'm okay with what the Cavs have. Personally, with Okoro and Wade added into that mix, Craig Porter can fill in some guard minutes. Sam Merrills is the shooter. So I guess we'll see, right, what they ultimately choose to do. Certainly, depth never hurt anybody. And maybe you even want another backup big. Maybe you don't think Tristan can cut it because some nights he's Tristan of old. He's now wearing 13 again. And some nights, well, he's the Tristan that couldn't really find a job last year, signed on to the Lakers at the end of the regular season. He's the Tristan that got benched in Sacramento, that got laughed at in Chicago. He's not Boston Tristan, who is a big rebounder and even an occasional shot blocker. Rob Williams emerged. Can we give Tristan some credit for that? I don't actually know what happened. I'd love to hear Tristan talk about his time with Rob Williams, so I hope he gets healthy. He's out for the year after playing only 3 games for Portland. Story of his career has just been injury. But nonetheless, Cavs' upcoming schedule is brutal. B-R-U-T-A-L, brutal. Bucks, home against the Bucks. At Atlanta. At Orlando. At Milwaukee. At Milwaukee again. Home against the Clippers. In my eyes, Zach Weiss, host of Across the Cavs on Network 216's eyes. In my eyes, the Cavs have to go at least 3-3 on this stretch. It doesn't matter. You have the Bucks 3 times. You have the Clippers. You have the Hawks. The Magic. This is a tough part of the schedule. But you've battled Milwaukee tough these last couple years. You've handed it to Orlando. The Clippers are star-studded, but hey, let them know. Atlanta's Atlanta at this point. You don't know what you're going to get. They almost blew a 35-point lead to the Spurs, but they still have a ton of talent. We'll see if DeJounte Murray is still there by Saturday, recording this on a Tuesday night. I'm hoping the Cavs go 4-2. Try and go 2-1 against the Bucks. You may lose to one of Orlando, LA. Just win the others. Win as much as you can. Keep winning. Keep the conversation positive. Because we look at the Eastern Conference and the Cavs right now are the 4 seed. A whole lot of tiebreaker going on. They're only 2 behind Philadelphia. Cavs are 14-8 at home. They're 9-7 on the road. And through all the early season struggles, they're looking like one of the most impressive teams of late. And it's with that I digress. The Cleveland Cavaliers should not make a trade at the moment. Should not move Strus. Should not move Wade. Should not move Sam Merrill. Because he's going to be viable. And they should absolutely convert Craig Porter's contract now that Ricky Rubio is officially out of the picture. A lot of exciting news around the Cavs still yet to happen. The trade deadline is in 3 weeks. We'll have a special that day, so make sure to stay tuned for it. Zach Weiss with you as always. Across the Cavs on Network 216. See you on Thursday. A bientôt, mes amis.